He said, I quote, "In an attempt to analyze the reasons for any international or political occurrence or incident, always strive to understand the underlying causes. This wise principle has guided me throughout my career as a student of political science and international relations and my diplomatic career. It has guided my judgment of people and places everywhere I have been, and will continue wherever life may lead me in the future. To understand the way, reasons, and how people and nations behave in any given situation, one must first understand the underlying causes of their moral, spiritual, and economic actions. This wise advice of Professor Herman permitted me to better understand my assignment in Germany during my 4 years journey in that country after World War II, my 8 years assignment at the United Nations in New York, where I served at the United Nations, 2 years journey in Hong Kong, and 11 years assignment in and between Egypt, the Arab Republic of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the Royal Kingdom of Iran. In each of these nations and at the World Organization, there were important lessons to learn. In my book, I have projected my personal perspective through my reflections in a manner for which I take personal responsibility. I have reflected on the 4 Liberian presidential administrations of my lifetime and some of the underlying reasons which led to the April 12, 1980 coup, followed by coups and counter-coups, leading to more than 20 years of civil war in Liberia. Liberia was one of 50 countries represented at the United Nations Conference on International Organizations to draw up the United Nations Charter in 1945. In 1961, Liberia was elected to serve on the United Nations Security Council. It was the second year of my assignment to the United Nations as First Secretary to the Permanent Mission of Liberia. In addition, I was appointed by the government of Liberia to serve as a member of the Liberian delegation accredited to serve on the Security Council. This was an era of crisis at the United Nations and the height of the Cold War. The United States had military superiority in the Caribbean, which the Soviet Union erroneously thought was a threat to their interests, and attempted to equip Cuba with nuclear missiles. The case for nuclear missiles in Cuba was rejected by the United States and globally. The world will forever remember the speech by the late Ambassador Adlai E. Stevenson on October 25, 1962, when he challenged the Soviet ambassador to deny that his government did not have nuclear missiles bound for Cuba. He added, and I quote, "I am prepared to await your reply until hell freezes over." This was a most tense and exciting time in my career, sitting and watching a debate in the Security Council that brought this world to the brink of nuclear warfare. It was an experience I will never forget. The Congo crisis also plagued the United Nations in 1961. Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld decided to visit the area with the hope of finding a solution to the accelerating conflict. I traveled to the John F. Kennedy Airport with the Liberian Ambassador Nathan Barnes to bid farewell to his wife who was traveling to Liberia. We arrived at the airport and were escorted to the VIP waiting lounge where the Secretary General was also waiting for the flight. We chatted with Dr. Hammershaw, and later Ambassador Barnes proposed a champagne toast for a safe flight of the Secretary General and Mrs. Barnes prior to their boarding the plane, which would make its first stop in Liberia's Roberts International Airport before continuing its flight to the Congo. In less than 24 hours, a news broadcast reported the plane carrying the Secretary General had crashed in the Congo and he had been killed. This incident was a shock that awakened me to the reality of life's fragility and the great loss the world has suffered in the death of the Secretary General. When I served my second tour of duty in Cairo, this time as ambassador and at the same time as non-resident ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iran, my travel brought me in touch with Ambassador George H.W. Bush. Because of an unscheduled visit to Tehran by President Sadat of Egypt for talks with the Shah, the date for presenting my credentials to the Shah had to be postponed for a day. Excuse me. The Prime Minister of Iran informed me of the situation and suggested that I should feel free to pay a courtesy call on any of my colleagues in Tehran. I requested the Chief of Protocol to arrange a meeting for me with the United States Ambassador. Excuse me. Then Ambassador George H.W. Bush. Our meeting was quite cordial. We had tea and exchanged pleasantries. He showed me the historic rooms in his chancery where President Franklin Roosevelt, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Premier Joseph Stalin held the Yalta peace talks in 1945. I did not know then that Ambassador Bush was a newly appointed ambassador to Iran. He advised me before I left our meeting that I should distance my visit from him because he was under suspicion due to the post he recently relinquished as head of the CIA. I thanked him for his advice and departed. At that meeting, I had no idea Ambassador Bush would become the 41st President of the United States of America. After 25 years of service to my country in 1981, I resigned from the position as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Liberia, accredited to the Arab Republic of Egypt, and non-resident ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the Royal Kingdom of Iran, following the coup d'etat that took place in Liberia in April 14, 1980. I returned to the country a few years later and remained serving as Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the J.F. Kennedy Medical Center until 1990. The approaching Civil War influenced my decision to leave the country at that time. My reflections continue describing the circumstances of my departure from Liberia. The advent of Charles Taylor era, beginning with the Civil War, his presidency and his aftermath is well documented elsewhere, including the verdict rendered in 2012 by the International Court of Justice at The Hague. The history is in the making for the country's present leader, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. My visit to Liberia a few weeks ago confirmed a basic truth which I believe and all Liberians are beginning to understand. That is, it is easier to destroy but very hard to rebuild. After the decades of civil war, Liberia is struggling in a state of recovery to rebuild its infrastructure, health facilities, institutions of education, legal and social systems. The natural resources of the nation are unlimited, but it will take time to make up for the wasted years of warfare. I invite you to visit Liberia. Take a look at the beautiful natural settings and determine if you might wish to invest some of your resources, skills, and talents to assist the nation and its people to achieve a state of recovery greater than it has ever known. The challenge is yours, and the rewards will be magnificent. So thank you.